Hello and welcome to the black portion of the Final Fantasy Limited set review. In this video, I'll be discussing all of the black cards and how good I think they're going to be in Limited. If you haven't been to one of my set reviews before, I use 5 tiers to sort of evaluate cards and talk about them. The tiers are loosely based around when I would pick a card on an average on a in a pack or whatever, all that stuff. It's it's not a perfect system, but it's a good way to get some discussion going about how good I think cards are. But yes, obviously there's always a lot of context when it comes to draft, and we acknowledge this by only having 5 tiers. Let's begin with Ahriman. 2 and a black for 2/2 flying and death touch. You can pay 3 to sacrifice another creature or artifact to draw a card. So, one other thing to note, have never played Final Fantasy, will not be pronounced like half of the characters' names right. You're just gonna have to live with that. That's that's it's going to be, you know what I mean. It could be tough for some of you out there. It could be difficult, but I believe that you'll be able to power through. So the thing about this is it doesn't really actually work with anything else in the set. It's a flyer that you don't really like. How good is it to have Death Touch on your Windrake? It's not like that good because your Windrake doesn't really want to trade off for your opponent's like ground 3/3 that often. And then like the ability's fine. I don't know. I feel like this just dies to everything, and then I don't care about it. This feels very ignorable. This feels like one of those cards you can just look at. Your opponent casts it, and I'm just gonna be like, alright, I'll just ignore that. Or I'll trade my 2/2 for it. I don't know. I'm a lot of ways to deal with this. That I'm not that excited. I guess theoretically you could sacrifice the wizards that we're gonna talk about a lot in the rest of this whatever. I'm not excited about black as a color because I don't think the wizards are going to be that good, but we'll see. This card, I don't know. I'm not that excited. Al Bhed Salvagers. 2 and a black for 2/3. When this creature or another creature or artifact you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Let's go with treasures. We've kind of seen this effect be pretty bad for a pretty long time. Like they keep, you know, it does work with itself dying. The fact that it costs 3 instead of 2, a lot of these usually cost 2, is pretty significant. It kind of means that you're investing more into your thing that you don't want your opponent to kill, and then when they kill it, you're kind of even worse off than you were previously. I think this is fine, but I'm not that excited about it. Arden the Usurper. 5 black, black, black for a 4/4. Demons you control have menace, lifelink, and haste. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target creature card from a graveyard. If you exiled a card this way, create a token that's a copy of that card except it's a 5/5 black demon with menace, lifelink, and haste because that's what it gives all your demons. Yeah, this is very good. It's 8 mana and triple pipped, so it's hard to cast. So it's hard to rate it as a tier 1 card because or you're not gonna try to splash this thing. It's gonna be different. You got to really be going in on black, and it's also 8 mana. So solid card, good, lots of value, wins you the game most of the time that you cast it. But the mana cost is real, and that's really it. Really, the mana cost exists, and that makes it so it's not gonna be like the perfect card of all time. Black Mage's Rod. 1 in a black, job select equipment. A creature gets +1/+0, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent and is a wizard in addition to its other types, and equipped for 3. So, there are a lot of equipment creatures running around. This is the type of effect that you kind of want to have around. It would be real. It would be really, really strong if they had made it the equipment has this effect. That would be truly unbelievable. They didn't do that because it probably would have been too good. But this is, I mean, a 2/1 that starts pinging your opponent when you cast non-creatures seems fine. It seems like a fine 2-drop. It is below rate though, which scares me. A lot of these wizard things are a little bit below rate, and I'm like, how much below rate stuff can you put in your deck? I'm like, I don't know, man. It's not. It definitely scares me. Cecil Dark Knight. Single black for a 2/3 with Death Touch. Whenever it deals damage, you lose that much life. Then if your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, untap Cecil and transform it into Cecil Redeemed Paladin, which is a 4/4 with lifelink, and whenever it attacks, other attacking creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. So obviously this is insanely good if it ever transforms. How likely is that to happen? Somewhat. I mean, you can get absolutely blown out. You know, you can attack for a bunch, go down to 10, your opponent kills this, and then you're just dead because you are starting the game at 10. I do think the rate is quite good and probably makes up for that. It's a difficult card to evaluate. It's one of those cards that like is inherently appealing because of how like big it is, but it also, you know, the cost is very real. Your opponent sees this coming for a very, very long time. It also has to deal damage to transform, which is kind of bad. So, like, actually transforming this is going to be really hard. I think a 1 mana 2/3 Death Touch is just that, like, loses you some life over the course of the game is kind of just fine, though. So that's kind of what I'm evaluating this as, is mostly the front side, that your opponent has to respect that it, like, could transform. Like, if your opponent doesn't respect it, it can transform. But I think with the appropriate amount of respect, it almost never transforms. So, yeah, I don't think this is amazing, but I do think the rate is good enough that you can lose 2 life per Death Touch swing and be sort of okay with it. Um, Interestingly, if you equip it, it may allow you to like accelerate how fast it transforms, which is cool. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it ever transforms, you're probably winning that game. If it doesn't transform, you're probably still in an okay spot. Your opponent probably has to use a pretty good removal spell on it. Like it I think you will if you were. I mean, this doesn't happen because it just transforms before it does this. But if for whatever reason you were at like 2 life and your opponent was at 2, I think this does kill them before it kills you because it's a triggered ability. So the trigger would go on the stack, but they're already dead. So that is a thing that is actually like kind of relevant with this card. Like you can actually attack with it when you're at like 3 life or 2 life. I think this is like one of those cards that's like potentially just completely overrating it because of the downside being overlookable. But I do think the rate is reasonable. So I'm gonna believe. I'm a believer. Circle of Power. 3 in a black sorcery. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Create a 0/1 black wizard creature token with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. Wizards you control get +1/+0 and gain lifelink until end of turn. It's kind of sweet. I don't know. I usually when your thing that like draws 2 cards and loses 2 life makes a permanent, it tends to be okay. It's going to be really difficult to get good use out of the lifelink because the wizards are all pretty small. Even the ones that aren't wizard tokens are pretty small. I kind of am rooting for this card. It like looks really sweet, and I kind of hope that it works. But I'm not optimistic. Is sort of my stance. The lifelink does trigger on the pings, by the way, but it only works this turn, and it doesn't work when you cast this spell. So you have to cast another non-creature, which isn't impossible if you're at like 6 mana. So something. It's something. There's something here. There's something. It's something or nothing. It's something. Cornered by black mages. 1 black sorcery. Target opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. Create a 0/1 black wizard creature token with whenever you cast a non-creature spell. This token does 1 damage each opponent. So this card is really bad. It's kind of like the worst possible format to print this in because this is double pipped. It's a sorcery. Yes, it gives you a body on the board, but the problem is every single deck is going to have job select equipment where they just sack their token and then you just cry. You just go, you're depressed and you never awaken from your slumber ever again because your 3-drop just did nothing. So this card is terrible. I honestly just should even put it in tier 5 maybe. It is a non-creature spell. The only thing that's saving it from no, it's going into tier 5. No, it upset me. It offended me. It did something offensive to my family, so I put it in tier 5. That's what happened to it. I'm moving on. Bob, Dark Confidant, it's back. 1 and a black, 2/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Lose life equal to its mana value. I want to be very clear. This is not a tier 1 card. It's not going to be one of the 10 best cards in the format. It's going to be okay. It's going to be a good card, but not great in limited because the life loss is real and it's really hard to mitigate it. However, out of respect for the history of the game, we shall put it in tier 1 either way because we respect the impact it has had on the history of Magic the Gathering. We respect it. Even though, and I'm going to draft it like it's a tier 1 card. I'm going to put this in my deck like it's a tier 1 card. It's one of my favorite cards of all time. So, even though we acknowledge that this card will just kill you sometimes, we respect it and we put it in tier 1. Nonetheless, respect. Anyway, Dark Knight's Great Sword, 2 and a black, for an equipment with job select. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and is a knight in addition to its other types, and you can equip it by paying 3 life. You can only activate that once each turn. So no, yeah, whatever, I don't know. So, it's a 3 mana for a 4/1. I mean, this is kind of interesting, right? Like, 3 is a lot of life to be paying to equip stuff, but if you equip it to, like, a lifelinker, which there are some, a 3 mana 4/1 is kind of, like, not the worst thing to have. You put it on, like, a flyer. It's kind of, it's scary. It's around. This equipment is around. The problem is, obviously, that you can't equip it without paying the life, which is quite bad. There are actually some ways to do that, but not that many. It's I think this is fine. I don't think it's great or anything, but I do think it's fine. I do think that paying 3 life to equip it, sometimes 0 mana is sometimes good. 0 mana equip stuff is sometimes good, and I think this is probably going to be reasonable. The Darkness Crystal. 2 black black for an artifact. Black spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile it and you gain 2 life. You pay 4 black black to put target creature exiled with the Darkness Crystal onto the battlefield tapped under your control with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So this is I think of the 5 crystals, this is the one that I think is the best. Because it gives you, like, it helps you catch up, right? It helps you be like, okay, well, yes, I'm going down a card, but I'm gaining a bunch of life when I kill my opponent's things, which is what you want to be doing to catch up anyway. And then eventually I just take over the game by putting, like, a creature or 2 from my opponent's side of the battlefield into play. Now, is it still great? No, because I put it in tier 2. Is that too high? Probably, because you are paying 4 mana to do nothing. But, I mean, this one has more of an impact on the board immediately than the other ones. It makes it so that if your opponent attacks into you, you can trade and then just gain 2 life and exile their thing, which is pretty good. Like, it makes all your trades, like, way better. And then if you can just survive, like, 2 or 3 turns, it's going to make it very difficult for your opponent to outvalue you. So, I think it's quite good. I believe in this one. This is, I think, the best one. I kind of hope this one's good, because otherwise all of them, I think, suck. Demon Wall. 1 and a black, 3/3, Defender Menace. As long as this creature has a counter on it, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. You can pay 6 mana to put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. Yeah, I mean, this has types and whatever, but it is, at the end of the day, a 2 mana 3/3 Defender. It turns into a 5/5 on, like, turn whatever. Maybe this is just good, because the thing is, normally the issue with these, well, I don't know, man. The 2 mana 3/3 Defender has been bad for so long. But I'm actually gonna move this up a little bit. I think this is. I think the fact that you can buy out of it is worth respecting. Yeah, I think I'm gonna respect it. The types do matter. It's an artifact, and I don't know. It's like it, eventually having a bit. Like, I think it does sort of, it solves some of its problems of being like, well, in the late game, this 3/3 Defender doesn't matter, but in the early game it matters, and it protects you, and eventually you can flip it, or not flip it, but, like, make it able to attack as a 5/5, which has haste for 6, which is pretty good. So I could even move it up another tier. I think this is solid, but I do think it. We're keeping it down because of the past of what 3/3 defenders look like. Evil Reawakened, 4 and a black sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. So this is similar to Defossilize. You got 2 counters. Now that one it's worse than Defossilize because Defossilize lets you explore twice, which is better on average than this. But it's in a very similar environment. There are land cyclers that you can do this with, just like Defossilize, and it's the same mana cost. And the format's kind of a little bit slow, so I sort of believe in this thing. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's going to be quite as good as Defossilize, but I think it's going to be a playable reanimation effect. Fang Fearless Lassie. 2 and a black, 2/3. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, draw a card and lose 1 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. And it melds with the other card to turn into the 7/6 thing that is actually real. It's a real thing. It has Vigilance, Menace, Trample, Reach, Haste, and when it dies, destroy target permanent and return target non-legendary permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield. But it's never going to die because it has all those abilities. Anyway, so yeah, if you have the other one, we'll get to it in the green part of the set review. But mostly evaluating this as the front side of the card, and it's okay. It's a little it's underrated, it's underrated, and it's not that easy to have things leave your graveyard. You are losing a life when you draw a card, which does matter. It's a 2/3. I'm just not that excited about this, but I think it's okay. I will try. I'm sure I'll try to do the meld thing at some point. Notably, the meld thing is made worse by the green card that it melds with is a lot better. The green card is very good. This one is not as good, so you're kind of going to want the green one first. Fight On. 2 and a black, instant, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. We've just had versions of this that were instants that also had buyout modes. This one does not have any buyout mode, and it's very slow and takes a large percentage of the game for it to actually get going. So not a huge fan of this. You can play it. It's not tier 5 is maybe a little too harsh, but you're never gonna draft this high, and if you play it, you're playing like 1 copy of it. You probably don't even really want to do that. The Final Days, 2 black sorcery. Create 2 tapped 2/2 black horror creature tokens. If the spell was cast from a graveyard, instead create X of those tokens, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard and it has flashback for 4 black. The fact that the tokens are tapped is very bad. If they were not tapped, I would be very, very huge fan of this. The fact that they are tapped, you're signing up to lose the game. Also, black has a lot of non-creatures. Like, again, this just doesn't really fit in this set very well because a lot of the creatures are equipment that are job select equipment. So a lot of your creatures are not actually creatures, which means that the flashback is going to not actually make that many tokens. So I'm not a huge fan of this. I think this is going to be quite bad. Gaius Van Belsar, 2 black for a 3/2. When it enters, choose 1. Each player sacrifices a creature token of their choice. Each player sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice. Each player sacrifices an enchantment of their choice. Most of what this is going to be is, oh hey, I don't have a token, I can make my opponent sacrifice their token. Hey, I don't have an enchantment, they can sacrifice an enchantment. I think this is actually going to be pretty good. It might even be better than it reads. Like, it reads is kind of bad. Like, the main mode of, like, oh, the main mode when you read this card sort of appears to be sacrifice a non-token creature. But I think the actual main mode is sacrifice a creature token when you don't have one. And then, like, sometimes you blow up enchantments. There's just not that many enchantments. There's some, but there's not that many. I don't know. I think this is fine. There's Old Pipped as well, so not easy. A lot of things you can dislike about it. So I'm going to choose to dislike. I'm going to choose to be a hater on this one. I think it's fine, though. Hectize. 1 and a black for a 1/1. When this creature enters, each opponent discards a card. We're back. The rat is back. It's been a while since we've had the rat. I think in the post-play booster era, I don't think we've had it once. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't think we've had. If we have had it, I haven't remembered it. We're kind of back, I mean, we're not. It's not quite Beetle. We couldn't get the power creep of Virus Beetle, in play. It's very sad. It's a sad time for a fellow like me. But these are always fine. They're never great, usually, unless they're Virus Beetle. And this one's going to just be the same. It'll be fine. Eject Reluctant Guardian. 3 and a black for a 4/3 with Menace. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may exile it and then return to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. It transforms into a 7/7 with Menace. It's a saga creature. Chapters 1 and 2, each opponent discards a card and you draw a card. Chapter 3, each opponent sacrifices 2 creatures of their choice. And then this thing dies. Interestingly. A lot of these transform back, but this one does not. But it's, it's already won the game by the time it's, you know what I mean? So, it's really good if you ever get to do the thing. It's a 4 mana 4/3 menace that just dies to a removal spell, and then you're not even that, like, it's not as if it's guaranteed to get in. When it gets in, you're probably going to win the game, and your opponent does have to have an answer for it, but it only has 3 toughness for 4 mana. So the expectations are being tempered by it, but I do think this is good. I think this will be pretty good. Kain, a Traitorous Dragoon. 2 and a black, 2/4. During your turn, it has flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of it. If they do, you draw that many cards and create that many tapped treasure tokens, then lose that much life. So you draw 2, make 2 treasures that are tapped, and you lose 2 life. And then they get a 2/4 flyer. Or in their turn, it's a flyer, but it's not a flyer in your turn. So, I don't know, man. Giving your opponent, so you play this on 3, it can block. Then on turn 4, you attack, you connect, draw 2, lose 2, make 2 treasures. That's pretty good. Your opponent gets to attack you back, do the same thing. Then they can choose to remove this, and you're even. You're probably even on cards and mana and everything. Like, you're kind of just giving your opponent a creature is pretty bad, because you paid for the creature. Like, they can just choose not to attack with it, and then they just have a 2/4 for the rest of the game. And then your board state is like nothing. You just have no board state, probably. And then they can at some point choose to, you know what I mean? I guess you can choose not to attack, but then you're just playing a 3 mana 2/4, which is quite bad. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this card. I think this card is like impossible to evaluate. I've kind of given it the coward's grade of tier 3. But it is kind of like how good I believe it is. I think it's like fine, but I don't know. Giving your opponent the option to do this back seems just not very good. Because again, you paid for it. So like if you do this back and forth for the rest of the game, you still paid the 3 mana up front, and they didn't have to pay for it. Like they just get to draw 2, make 2 treasure tokens, whatever, for free. They just get to do that for free. I mean, it's not free, you get the creature back, but you pay the upfront cost. So I'm not a huge fan of this. Marlborough. 4 black, 4/4. When this creature enters, each opponent discards a card, loses 2 life, and exiles the top 3 cards of their library, and a swamp cycling for 2. So, as we mentioned, this is a swamp cycler. We can use this with the reanimate to do very cool and fun things that are very interactive. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I think this is a fine land cycler. I don't think you're going to really want more than a copy of it, but again, if you do have the reanimate thing, it's kind of a thing you can do. I expect that I will probably do that at some point in this format. I don't think it's quite as good as the black one from LCI, where you would just give something indestructible and +2/+0, and it was a 5/6. So that one was kind of a little bit of a better reanimate target, but this one's more of a value reanimate. It kind of depends on what you're looking for in terms of your reanimate spells. Weird that it exiles the top 3 cards of their library. I don't know why it does that. Assume there's some flavor reason. Namazu Trader. 3 and a black, 3/4. When this creature enters, you lose 1 life and create a treasure token. Whenever this creature attacks, you may sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, surveil 2. I kind of like this 4-drop, right? Obviously, you have to pay 1 life to make the treasure, which isn't great. But the treasure tokens are very, very valuable in this set. They've synergized with very many things in black and like all the colors, a little bit of mana fixing. You can use them. This is a sack outlet. You can sacrifice creatures. Now, obviously, it has to attack, but you can use a sack outlet. Just kind of like does it all. Is it a 4? It's a 4-drop, so do we have that much faith in it? As a high pick, maybe not, but I like this card. Ninja's Blades. 2 and a black. It is an equipment with job select. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and is a ninja in addition to its other types, and has whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. That player loses life equal to the discarded card's mana value. So it's a 3-mana 2/2. So I said reasonable up front. That might be dumb. Hold on. Yeah, I said it was reasonable up front. It's not reasonable up front. It's terrible up front. But hold on. Ninja addition to its other types. Discard a card. That player loses life equal to discard a mana value. I'm gonna bump this down. It's been lowered. The reason it's been lowered is that a 3-mana 2/2 is really bad. It is a threatening thing to have on the battlefield. Like, you hit your opponent, you get to loot. The problem is then you're discarding, like, a big spell. The thing that you kind of like about this is that the re-equip cost isn't too bad, and you can just kind of, like, put it wherever. So eventually, over the course of the game, the value isn't going to be too bad, I think. But I also don't think it's, like, super exciting. Overkill. 2 and a black, instant. Target creature gets -0, -999 until end of turn. So, murder, but better. And, yeah, single pip. Gets around some indestructible stuff, gets around some whatever stuff. It's good. Phantom Train. 3 and a black, 4/4 with trample. Sacrifice another artifact or creature. +1/+1 counter on this vehicle becomes a spirit artifact creature in addition to its other types until end of turn. So you can sacrifice a creature to make it into a big vehicle. Notably, there is no other way to crew it, so that's why I think it sucks. If there was a way to like crew like 3 or something just to like buy out, I would be like, ooh, kind of interesting. The fact that you have to sacrifice something is basically signing up to get completely annihilated by any removal spell, so I'm completely off this. Poison the Waters. 1 and a black for a sorcery, choose 1. All creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Target player reveals their hand, you choose an artifact or creature card from it, that player discards that card. 2-mana Thoughtseize tends to not be great, tends to be a little slow. This one does have a buyout mode. It's like fine, I think it's kind of playable, but you're just never going to be that excited about it. Kitrub, Forayer. Holy man, 2-mana black, 3/2. When this creature enters, choose 1. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn, or exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Both of these modes are pretty bad, and the fact that you don't get the ability to do this on your opponent's turn and you can only do it when you attack means that the dealing damage to something and then killing it mode is just not good. It's just not. It's just too small. Like it's just too. The rate is just too bad on this thing. There's no excitement for me about it. It also doesn't synergize with a single thing in the set at all. Reno and Rude. 1 and a black, 2/1, Menace. When it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. Then you may sacrifice another creature or artifact. If you do, you may play the exiled card this turn, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. So it's a 2-mana, 2/1 Menace that like can maybe get you some like sacrifice-y, value-y, like, hey, I'm going to turn my 1/1 token into a card for my opponent's deck. Fortunately, you get to see what the card is before you decide that you want to sacrifice something. So that's really good. It's just a really good 2-drop. So not a whole lot to say about it. Resentful Revelation. 1 and a black for a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Flashback for 6 and a black. I'm confused as to why they printed Black Impulse as a sorcery. I don't really... I mean, it's not Impulse. It's more like... what's it called? Oh, what is the card called? Man, I should know what it's called, but I'm not going to look it up because why would I do that? You know what I'm talking about. It is strange. It is a strange card that for some reason black has access to now. I don't know why we were giving black this card. I don't get it. But here we are, and it's not that great. It's a sorcery, but you know, you do get to put 2, like you get 1 in your hand, 2 in your graveyard. it's like pretty. It's kind of good, man. I don't know. And you get to flash back for some value. I like this card. I think this card's going to see some play. Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier. 2 and a black for a 3/3. Whenever it enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. If this is the 4th time this ability has resolved this turn, transform Sephiroth into a 5/5 with flying. As this creature transforms into Sephiroth, one-winged angel, you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, a target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures if you do draw that many cards. So if you ever transform this, you're going to win. It's not super likely that it transforms, but just the front side of Sephiroth is really good, right? You just get to come in, drain your opponent, like sack a thing, drain your opponent for 1. You can also do it on attacks. It's a 3-mana 3/3. I didn't think too hard about it. To be honest with you, tier 1's probably a bit rich, but it is Sephiroth. I don't know anything about Final Fantasy, but I do know that Sephiroth is a character from it, and because I know that Sephiroth is a character from it, it's probably really good. That was kind of my evaluation process for this card. But yeah, I don't know. Seems good. Tier 1 is probably too high though, but Sephiroth's Intervention, 3 and a blue or black, 3 and a blue. Yeah, no, 3 and a black. Instant destroy target creature. You gain 2 life. Very good. We've seen this before for like 2 black that does this and only gains life sometimes. This is just better than that, so I think this is going to be great. It's very unassuming. It kind of looks worse than the common, I guess the uncommon 3-mana thing, but it's somewhat comparable, I imagine. Shambling Scythe. 2 and a black for a 3/3 that enters tapped. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay black. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. No interest in this. It's just, obviously you have to tack on an extra black mana and then you're getting a tapped 3/3 for 3. I don't really care about that value. Yeah, you could do some cool stuff. You can do some stuff with it. It just is the worst way to do recursion stuff. It just never. If it was pay 3 to bring it back to the battlefield, I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe. But you're basically paying 4 mana now, and then it's a lot. It's so much to just get a 3/3 that you don't even really want. Shinra Reinforcements, 2 and a black, 2/3. When this creature enters, mill 3 cards, and you gain 3 life. I just don't care about this. Milling 3 cards is fine, but and gaining 3 life, both fine things, but a 3-mana 2/3 is pretty dang irrelevant. Has no types, no abilities, does nothing. I don't know. I don't really get it. I don't get what's going on here. I don't understand. Side quest: Hunt the Mark. 3 black for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, destroy up to 1 target creature. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your opponent's control this turn, create a treasure token. Then if you control 3 or more treasures, transform this enchantment into a 5/6 dragon that has the ability 1 and a black, sacrifice another creature or artifact. It gains indestructible until end of turn and tap it. So quite good. Your removal spell turns into a dragon eventually, and also makes you treasures. So really, really good. Very, very strong. Could even put it in tier 1, and I wouldn't be crazy. Wouldn't say that that's crazy. It might be better than Sephiroth. Who knows? Somewhere in that range. Very good. Very powerful. Summon Anima. 4 black, 4/4 menace. Its first 3 chapters. You draw 1 card and lose 1 life. 4th chapter, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice and loses 3 life. So up front, you're paying 6 mana for a 4/4 menace that draws a card and loses 1 life. I don't know, man. You are getting 3 cards out of the deal eventually. And your opponent, if your opponent kills it, are you really that upset? You're not that upset. You got a card. But do you really want to block with it? Nah. And them sacrificing a creature of their choice and losing 3 life is kind of whatever. I think this is fine. I don't love it, but I think it's fine. I think it's going to kind of be hard to get a huge blow with this. But you are getting 3 cards if it survives. if your opponent kills it, you're kind of okay with it because it's a Saga creature, and they use a removal spell on your Saga creature, and you drew a card already. Is it that bad? Trading off is pretty bad, but it can block, and it's not the worst if they have to use a trick too. Like it's. I think this is fine. I think this is fine, but not super exciting. Summon Primal Odin, 4 black for a 5/3. First chapter, destroy target creature an opponent controls. Second chapter, this creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. That player loses the game, so they have to block it. And chapter 3, draw 2 cards, each player loses 2 life. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a weird card, but 6 mana to remove something. Pretty bad. Like, that's not a great rate. But then your opponent is going to have to block this and trade with it, or they lose the game. And if they, and the worst case scenario, you draw 2 cards and each player loses 2 life. It's kind of like a really weird card, but I think it's good. There's a lot of good removal though, so it's like, how much do you really need this? I don't know. It's fun. Tonberry. Single black for 2/1. It enters tapped with a stun counter on it. During your turn, this creature has first strike and death touch. So it doesn't get to attack until turn 3. But if you play this on turn 1, you're still getting to a 2/1 death touch first strike on turn 3. Pretty good. Wears equipment really well. It's a great 1-drop. I just, how good is it on turn 6? It's not the best. It's not the best. It's not the best. Wouldn't describe it as the best. So I think it's going to be okay. Maybe not amazing, but it's cool. I don't know. I like it. I like that it's got a knife or whatever. It's kind of chilling. Undercity Dire Rat. 1 and a black, 2/2. When this creature dies, create a treasure token. Yeah, this is fine. I don't love it. Maybe I could move it up. It has no types. It does make a treasure, though. You're probably going to play this as, your black 2-drop. It might even be better than the Wizard's Staff thing, to be honest with you, because I kind of hate that card. It does make an artifact when it dies. It has to die, though. Having to die is just so bad. It's just so bad, because it doesn't always die when you want. But if you have, sacrifice stuff going on, it's okay. Vane's Treachery. 1 and a black, instant with kicker, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. If the spell was kicked, that creature gets -6/-6 instead. Seen this before. The last time was in March of the Machine. Was very, very good in that format. I expect it to be very, very good in this format. A lot of, notably, black's removal in this set, very, very good. It's the best it's been in, I want to say, a while. I mean, they printed some good. We had Caustic Exhale last format, but I mean, Dragon's Prey. But I think all the removal in this format is better than on both of those cards. I mean, Caustic Exhale was fine with dragons and stuff, but I think all of the 2 common removal spells in black are great. The uncommon removal spells great. You get a couple of rares. The removal in black is really good. So that is the reason to play black. Vincent Valentine. 2 black, 2/2. When a creature an opponent controls dies, put a number of +1/+1 counters on this equal to that creature's power. When it attacks, you may transform it into a 3/2 with trample and lifelink. When it dies, return to the battlefield tapped, front face up. Notably, it keeps all the counters on it. But if you attack with a 3/2, it doesn't. Anyway. Kind of cool. It attacks a 3. It just dies as a 2/2. So it is a 4-mana 2/2, and that's bad. I'm gonna keep it cheap with you. That is not good. But your opponent does have to respect it and kill it. And when it attacks, you're basically always going to transform it because you don't lose the counters when you transform. And it has lifelink and trample, and then it comes back and yeah, I don't know. This looks pretty good. It is double pipped in a 2/2 for 4. So that's why it's in tier 3 and not higher. But it's sweet. It's a sweet card. Vincent's Limit Break. 1 and a black. Instant with tiered. Until end of turn, target creature you control gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, and it has the chosen base power and toughness. So for 0, it comes back as a 3/2. For 1, it comes back as a 5/2. And for 3, it comes back as a 7/2. So for 3 total mana, it's a 5/2, and for 5 total mana, it's a 7/2. None of those modes are very good. These type of effects tend to not be very good. This one in particular, like, it sometimes is just a really bad downside. You just don't even like get to like keep your original creatures. Like sometimes you put this, like the best case scenario with these types of cards is usually, oh, I put this on my 4-drop and then I get my 4-drop back. But this kind of like eliminates that. It only like it upgrades your token, like your worst case scenario of, oh, my token died, or not my token, but like my 1/1 died, like my rat. Then this upgrades that. Which of those is more relevant? I mean, you tell me. I think it's fine, but I mean, making a 7/2 is not even that much better than making a 5/2. So paying for the extra mana for 7 seems really bad. Xenos Ye Galvus. 3 black for a 4/4. When it enters, choose a creature an opponent controls. Until end of turn, creatures other than Xenos Ye Galvus and the chosen creature get -2/-2. When the chosen creature leaves the battlefield, transform it, or transform this creature, into an 8/8 with flying. As you transform this creature, choose an opponent. When that chosen player loses the game, you win the game. Which, of course, does not mean anything for limited, but it does turn into an 8/8 flyer. Yeah, I mean, this is just really good, right? So it's a 5 mana 4/4 that will kill all of a lot. Will kill maybe 1 or 2 of your opponent's creatures, maybe 1 or 2 of your creatures. There's a lot of like things to think about with this. Do you choose a big creature to keep it around, like to make it harder to kill or whatever? I don't know. I think for the most part, this is just going to be really good. Because there's a lot of token stuff happening, and this just completely destroys that. It destroys all the wizard tokens. It destroys all the like 1/1s in white. It destroys a bunch of the like, I don't know. This just blows up. It just kills a lot of stuff in this set. So I think this is going to be quite good. And then when it transforms into an 8/8 flyer, you're probably pretty happy about that. And the last black card, Zodiark, Umbral God, black. I don't know how many times I said the word black. 5/5, indestructible. When it enters, each player sacrifices half of the non-god creatures they control of their choice, rounded down. Whenever a player sacrifices another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this. So obviously, if you're mono black, this is pretty good. But yeah, you're almost never mono black. It's good when you can cast it, but you can't ever cast it. So obviously, like if you pack one, pick one this and try to do mono black, you can do it. It's a good card. It's powerful. It actually is maybe worth doing that for, but the castability makes it so that it is going to be not worth trying to do. You can also do. There's not really like a ton of ways to like discard cards in the set to do the reanimation thing, but you can reanimate it. It's not going to be easy to get into the graveyard, but once you do, it's pretty good. I think this is bad though, so don't try to cast it because you will not be able to cast it. There are treasures, maybe there are treasures, and I'm not respecting the treasures, but I'm still not gonna respect the treasures. So that's it. That's it for the set review for Black. There will be more set review content coming in the next day or so. There's other set review content out already, so please go check it out. I will see you in the next one.